Hello, good evening, good morning, and hello. How are you all doing today? And as you can see in the title, I want to talk about AC Shadows, a game where I've managed to hit end credits, and I'm basically done with the main campaign and done with the game. Gameplay behind me is from the AC Assassin's Creed channel, because I forgot to record some gameplay for it, so I'm just borrowing theirs. Okay. First of all, this game is okay. Overall, in my last video, I gave the video game, I think it was something like a 7 out of 10. That's dropped to about a 5. It just keeps going. The main campaign just keeps on going, and I didn't even enjoy my time with a lot of it coming to the end of it, and that's mostly because of Ubisoft's wanting to shove as much into the game as possible. And I think there is a lot about this game that I want to talk about. So let's just start with the first. Yasuke just doesn't feel right. He feels like a Dynasty Warriors character. A character who, the problem I have that Yasuke and having the two characters is the fact that they've split the gameplay between two characters, and what that does, it reduces the complex and the abilities that the character's going to have. I think if I were to do this game, I would just focus in on Naoe's stealth and add the samurai side to it, a bit like Ghost of Tsushima, with the fact that you can be stealthy about it and be a ninja, or you can be a samurai. And I think if they focused in more on the gameplay and that, you could have a really cool stealth system. There are some good moments in this game, like the stealth, being able to turn off light, and the stealth being more based on the lighting. The lighting is really good, and I find myself actually enjoying the stealth, which I usually don't like stealth games. I'm not very good at them. But I actually had a lot of good time. The only problem is, Yasuke is such a big part of the game. When I was forced to play him for missions, I just didn't enjoy his gameplay. Because I've been so focused on, trying to sneak through areas. When I got to Yasuke, who's more, combat focused, it was like, oh. And the fact that he's so limited with his abilities and his kit, it's a weird feeling that I'm trying to put that if he was in his own game, not connected to Assassin's Creed, where it was focusing on his combat and his story, I think that would have been a really interesting thing, and focusing in on the his revenge story. The problem is that jumping between two characters, and you just feel like when you play as Naoe, you don't have any range options. You have your katana, you have your kunai, but what if I wanted to use a bow and arrow as more of a long range option? I'm hoping, well, I don't really care anymore because I've uninstalled the game, and the game is full of stuff. This is one of those games I feel like you need to wait for a sale, because in the end of the day, you're going into it. If you go into this thinking it's an Assassin's Creed, it's a Ubisoft game, it'll be fine. But if you go in thinking this is going to change anything, no. It's not a return to form, because a return to form wouldn't have the stupid leveling system. I think the leveling system in this game breaks the just difficulty and just the kind of dull, and it's swiping at an opponent over and over and over and over, and they're not dying. It gets very repetitive and very boring, and your abilities that you get, or like special moves, that you get like 3 per weapon. Wow, the customization in that. See, if they had one character and you keep all these weapons, that's one character with so many different options. And they decided that they wanted to have Yasuke. And I also think in the story, Yasuke doesn't feel right in the story. He doesn't feel, isn't his story. This is Naoe's story, because it's all about her clan and her like revenge tale. And then Yasuke's kind of just plonked in there, and he's got a revenge, and he's trying to hunt down the people who like killed his mother and enslaved him and stuff. Which I was just like, oh, okay, sure. When the first 15 hours of the game is all about Naoe, and you just appear, and you're like, hey, I'm the one who killed like your family and all your people. Let's work together to kill the real guys. And then you're like, oh, okay. Naoe's like, oh, okay, we'll have one conversation, and they don't seem to have this back and forth that somebody would have if they were, you know, they have one night where they drink and then they're friends. It's like, yeah, Naoe probably realistically would still not trust him, with the fact that he was the man who killed a lot of his, you know, a lot of her family. Yeah, if the game, I think they went for quantity over quality. And it is a shame, because, you know, this could have been a really cool game. And I don't say not have Yasuke in the game. I think Yasuke should have been sort of aged up and been sort of like a mentor character to Naoe. Like, have his backstory be that he was actually a warrior back in his homeland, and he's been brought over to Japan. He gets captured by the slavers. He gets captured by the slavers. He escapes. He joins the Jesuits to go over to Nobunaga. Nobunaga sees him, sort of has a connection to him because he's a warrior, and he could be sort of explains why Nobunaga actually had so much faith in him. The fact that he was a warrior, he knew how to fight and how to strategize. And then when he joins up with Naoe, there could have been this sort of, yes, I'm the one who killed you, but I know the real bad guys now. Here's, you know, and she could have also been taught by him, you know, the ways of the samurai. You could still have that samurai fantasy, and she could be both the samurai and the ninja, you know, two fantasies that you could go for. I think that would have been a really interesting character they could have played with, but they wanted him to be playable. And again, I don't think he needed to be. I think, and also giving us the option to choose between playing as Yasuke or playing as Naoe in like the big missions, I think broke the fact that they had to develop they basically had to develop stages that both of them could actually deal with. Like, there weren't situations where I'm like, okay, Naoe is the only one who can get into this area. It was just like, oh, okay, there's these massive open parts that Yasuke is meant to kill, and you seem to like hug the edge of a lot of places. Very rarely did I ever, you know, jump into a center and go, hey, this is me, smoke bomb. Also, smoke bombs just didn't work. They sometimes work, but most of the time I threw a smoke bomb and the people just walked through it and went straight for you. I didn't like that. I think they need to be fixed. Hot chocolate today, because I had marshmallows, and I was like, you know what, I want to make hot chocolate. And like I said, with the story, I think if it finished 10 hours before, or at least, I'd say about 15 hours. If it was 15 hours shorter, this would have been a great 7 out of 10. But because it just kept going and ended with like, and I know that people are going, oh, there's going to be expansions. Doesn't matter. A story should be able to stand on its own without expansions. There isn't, and it is a disappointment. It generally is a disappointment that this is. So my final one, it's an ice cream van. Bloody hell, I wonder if you can hear that. That's quite funny. And I will admit, I basically stopped caring about like the side activities near the end. I still think Ghost of Tsushima does side activities the best. It basically reduces the amount through the map when you start to get to the higher level maps, because it knows that you want to focus more on the story near the end. You don't want to be going after like health and all this stuff. I didn't even finish like the skill tree. Like, I got halfway through the skill tree and went, this is Like, don't get me wrong, the skill tree is a lot better than Veilguard, thanks, Brian. Valhalla, like, actually having skills that matter. Some of them, I think, are really good options, like the double assassination and stuff. We'll get onto that in a minute, assassinations. And having your abilities actually upgrade instead of having 1% damage more, 1% damage more. I think they really did focus in and went, okay, these are the skills that matter and we need to focus on these. Yeah, let's go on to the assassinations. The assassinations were stupid. Walking up to somebody and going, oh, you didn't actually die. Fucking idiots. Whoever thought that was an idiot. So I like to point out most of my armor was based on basically increasing that amount, so I could guarantee assassinations. I know there is an option to guarantee assassinations, but I don't want to go into an option to basically turn on a feature that should be standard. Yeah. I know I did a review of this game like not too long ago, but that was like really early in the thing, and I was like, you know what, everyone's talking about it, I might as well get a video out. Yeah, this is my final verdict of the game. It's okay. If you want to play the game, personally, I'd wait for a price drop. But if you're not a fan of like Assassin's Creed, this won't make you a fan of Assassin's Creed. Yes, we've got Tencent making the next Assassin's Creed, so there may be some changes. Hex might actually be good. I really hope Hex is really good, because will I return to this? Maybe. But yeah, that's my little video on Assassin's Creed Shadows. I want to know what your thoughts about the game. Put me down in the description if you play the game, or if you're actually going to pick the game up. I hope you have a lovely day. Please like and subscribe and all that BS. Anyway, ta-ra.